Okay, so let's continue with our last approach, which is the in-place modification. That's the follow-up question that was being asked on Leetcode. That can you do the in-place modification? So again, let me take some different examples so that I can explain in-place modification a bit easily. So it's also the Leetcode test case, one of the Leetcode test case that I have taken. So we have here two spaces, leading and also trailing, and in between, let's say we have just one space. Okay, so how we can do the in place, because we can't use anything else, any other data structure to store something. We have to just modify the same string in place, and our output should be world and hello. Okay, with just one space in between and nothing else. So this is hello. So this is one space and this is L and no space anywhere. So how can we do that? So again, first things first, as we said, we have to reverse it, right? Step one was to reverse the entire string, because somehow we need some reversal, right? That we have seen in our approach too. So I'll reverse. So it will be a bit tricky to write, but I'll write it. Firstly, we have two spaces, then D L R O W. Oops, it's D L R O W. Yes. Then one space, and then O L L E H, and then two spaces. Okay, after reversal, we get something like this. Now what I'm going to do is going to use two pointers approach. As I said, this will also be a two pointer approach, and this is really common approach. Okay, so when you have to do in place modifications like this without using extra space, using two pointers, as well as sometimes three pointers are used. Okay, we will solve one more question on three pointers. Okay, so don't worry about that. So how we can do, so just to let you know, with the three, sort color is the problem. If you will just search sort colors, okay, it's the problem where three pointers are really useful. But here, how this two pointers can be used here, let's see that in case when we have to do in place modification. So firstly, after reversing, we have this step. Now as I said, I'll use two pointers. So let me name those pointers. So one, let me name I, which will iterate through my entire list, and other will be a right pointer, which will go to the right side only when it feels that it's correct, or else it will not go. So you can consider it, since the name you can give any name, but just for sake of simplicity, I have just right. But I hope you get it. So it will be more clear why this pointer is needed. So what I'll do, I'll use two pointers, both starting at 0 0. So both will start from this trailing space now. Okay, firstly we just reversed, so after reversing we are getting this, and now we are starting both from 0 0. So both both I and right pointer are starting from 0 0. Now what I have to do, I will, as I said, right will only move when it feels it's correct, it's right to move, or else it won't move. So, and of course when it will move, when we will have the W, when we, because what we need no space, we just need first word in our list which was given, right? We modified it, and it's now S is this reversed one. So until unless we won't get W here, right won't move, but I will continue to iterate, and based on I suggestion, right will move. So I'll explain how this two pointers thing works here for in place modification. So firstly, I'll start from I as 0. It's space, so we don't need it, so we'll skip it. Now I is here. Let me change the color while I'm moving. So now I is here. It's still a space, so we won't move it. Now it's D. So what we can do, because we have got something, right? So firstly, what we will do is we will simply write this. So firstly, we can't modify in place in Python. So since in Python strings are immutable, so what I mean is strings are immutable, but only in Python. In C++ they aren't. So just for Python. So we can't, if I'll write something like this, that just write S of 0 SW now, which I need, it can't, or anything D, because we encounter D first. This is not possible. If you will do this, they say sorry, you can't do this because strings are immutable in Python. So what can we do? So firstly, what we have to do is we have to convert this into a list. So now what our output will be after I convert this into a list, list of this will be 2 spaces and then each character separated, D, L, R. I don't know why it always considers triangle because of this auto. W, then space, then O, L, L, E, H, and then space and space. And of course, this is list and all are characters. So there will be, all will be in quotes. Okay, I'm not writing L, but that's what we will get. Okay, so now what I have to do, this I'll start from here. Again, I'm starting that pointer thing. So my I will be here, my R will be here. Now I'm moving my I. It's space, so we'll skip. We'll move here. My I is here. Now it's not space. So now my I is here. Now it's not space. So what we have to do? Whatever is this D, we will put it here where R is. Okay. So let me write that what is happening here in this intermediate, that firstly this was space, but now it's D. Okay. And rest assured. So let me write here that it's D and rest everything is the same. Okay. Since we encountered this, I'm just writing. Okay. Now I'll move further. Now my right is here because we already have D. So now I'll write L here. Then my I is here. So since it's a valid character, now this D will be overwritten because these 2 spaces are gone. So D will be overwritten with R. Now my I is here. So this will be O. Now my I is here. So this will be W. Okay. And now my I is hitting the space. So as I said, when we hit the space, we stop. Okay. So what we have to do, we have to extract this totally. Okay. And then firstly, when we encounter space, we stop. Okay. Now we won't update anything. Correct. So first things first, that this much is modified, but still we have O, W and everything like this, but this much is done. Now what our task is just to reverse this. If we'll reverse this, it will be world, and that is what we need, right? World and hello. So we are getting closer to our output that we need, but this is how, but still we are stuck here, that what will happen after this. Okay, so again, to repeat, we will first start, we will skip any spaces that we have. Okay, so first we will start our while loop and we will see if there are any spaces, we will just skip them. Okay, so first while loop will be for this. Second while loop will be if there are no spaces. Okay, so it will be the same thing that we have discussed. Let me just show you that this while loop, this was checking not spaces. So this will be also one loop, the entire same loop with the same conditions. Not everything inside will be a bit different, but the conditions will be the same. So this will check for non-empty spaces. Okay, it will check for this. And as soon as we find this, we will update our right and move our right. Okay, as well as of course move our I as well, because we have to move I as well. Okay, and after this, and once, so we have to first write our while loop to skip the spaces. Okay, so the first while loop will be for this. After that while loop is finished, we have to write while loop for this condition. And after that, this while loop is done, we know that we have extracted our entire world. Okay, like this. And what we have to do is just simply reverse it. So we will just reverse this much until this much, until where my right is, because we know that my right will be incremented only when we are until here. So right now our right is here. Okay, right pointer is here, because every time we are updating this, we are moving our right pointer to plus like next position. So this is what we'll do. So this will be more clear if I'll write it. So let me just write it, this because this is a bit hard to explain on the whiteboard. So let's write it and I'll show you with debugging, so it will be better. So let's see that. So let's have our approach 3 in place modification, and let's comment this out. So again, as I said, I'll take few things from here. I'll need these two things. So I'll take it. And also, as I said, I have to convert to the list. So let's do it here as well. List. And why list? As I said, we need something that is mutable, and lists are mutable data structures in Python. So as I said, I have to take 2 pointers, I and right. Both will start from 0, 0. First thing, this will be the outer loop, like we did for second approach. So it's good to know the second approach as well. This is the outer loop that my I will go from 0 until the length. And firstly, I will be initialized at 0. Sorry, it's already initialized. Sorry. So now what we'll do is, first while loop will be to skip the spaces, leading spaces, right? Leading spaces that we have, and also the trailing spaces that we get later on. So again, first will be if there are any spaces, just space, okay? Even though they are 1, 2, then we have to just simply skip, okay? Right will stay at the same position. We are not doing to do anything to the right. We'll just skip. So we just skip to the position where we have this D. Okay, until now what we did is something like this. Now what we have to do, let me just write the comments as well so that it's clear for you. Skip spaces. Now I will store our right into one other variable start. Why will be clear, because it will mark the start of the word, that my word is being now starting. Now as I said, I'll need one more loop. So this will be another loop and string of I, but this time it will be not equal to space. So this time we have the characters. Okay, so if we have, then we will simply modify. My right is right now what? My right is 0. So I will write D, because what's the first character that we got is D, right? What was it? D? Let me think. Yeah, it was D. So this is what we get. So we'll write it. And of course, both should go further. That right should also go ahead and I should also go ahead. I'll debug it step by step. It will be more clear. So this will be for this. And now what we have to do, you will now realize that why this start was needed. After this, we just have to reverse what? This DLROW. Until this, in the entire string, until this point. So what is this point? This is where my right points to. So I have to just reverse that. But until where my right points to. So what I'll do for that, I can use inbuilt function, but let's be bit let's be a good programmer and write a bit. Okay, so I'll write a method which will reverse. So I'll write it later, but what it will do, it will accept the string s and it will reverse the string starting from, because my right is updated, right? That's why I have to store that right into some other variable which I'll call start. And I'll also write the end variable which is right. Of course, right -1, because right is incremented. So I'll have to do until right -1. Okay, so I'll just show you here that now after this is being returned, my right will be updated to next, right plus plus, because of the while loop. And that's why I have to write this right -1. So I'll write that method later, but it just simply means that it will just reverse the entire list, and that's it. And now what we have to do, after one thing is done after world is being reversed. Okay, so not world is being reversed, but what I mean is after this is being reversed, we will get the world, and after that we will need one space irrespective. So after, like in place of this O, we need space. So that's what we will do. We'll need space. So I'll write S of right will be just one space now. So just space after each word that we need. But you will realize that again we have to put one condition that we failed in our approach to, that only if my right is also in the bounds. What if my right is out of bounds? We don't have to. Every time we don't have to. And then what we will do is my right plus equals to 1 because the space is being updated, and also my I should go ahead. Perfect. So this is what we have to do. And let's see in action what happens until now. Okay. And of course we have to write the reverse function logic. So let me write that. Define reverse. It will accept my string, which will be a string, and two indices, left and right, both will be ints. Okay, it will be in place modification, so it will return nothing. So it will return none, and those two will be ints, int and int. It will just reverse, and you can reverse it in using inbuilt function as well, but I'll just write while left is less than right. Then what we have to do, just swap. So whatever is left becomes right, and whatever is right becomes left, and increment the right and increment the left, like 2 pointers, they should come close to each other. So right, this is one liner to swap in Python. RIGHT, is it right? GHT. Oops. S of left. So what this will do is right will be assigned to left and left will be assigned to right. So it's like we are starting from start and end. These are 2 pointers, left and right, and both will come towards each other while swapping their values. So it will automatically reverse it. And of course, to bring them together, left should be increased, by +1, and right should be decremented until, and you have to do this until they both don't cross each other. So while left is less than right. So this is just an helper function that we are using, and this will be called here. Now let's debug this totally so that we know what we are doing. And at the end, what we have to do, this because this is a list, so we have to again join, and join until where, as I said, right will be the place where, until where we have to go. So until we have to go right -1. This is also not clear, I know this, because for example we are done here, we get the space, and then here we get the OLLEH. Okay, let me write. So here we get the space, in place of this we get O, in place of this we get H, L, here as well L, then in place of this we get E, and in place of this we'll get H. Now after this we don't care, whatever is there we really don't care, right? And that's why we have to just consider, and this will be the point where my right will be pointing. So right will be plus plus, so right will be pointing here, that's why I'm taking until right -1. So this will be clear when I debug it nicely. But firstly, let's try to see if it's running or not. Oops, no attribute reverse. Self.reverse. There is an attribute reverse. Why it's saying no attribute reverse? This is my class. Define reverse. Indentation. It should be here. Okay, we are getting the wrong answer. We are getting one extra space somewhere at the end. And why is it so? If my incrementing right, we are getting one extra space somewhere at the end. Let's see if we are getting everywhere at the end. Oh no, here we won't. Here as well we are skipping. Only here we are getting one extra. I'm wondering why. Because I think we are incrementing I many times. So it seems like I is being out of bounds somewhere. So if this happens, we will break. And let's see now. Perfect. So since we are incrementing I couple of times in this loop as well, in this loop as well. So we are somewhere getting out of bounds this I, and then we have to break it. So let's debug now. Things are not clear. So let's debug it. Let's start from here and debug. Okay. And let's consider this example which had leading and trailing spaces so that we know what happens. Okay, so I will be 0, n is 15. Condition satisfied because these two are spaces. First two are the spaces, you can see. So it will be skipped simply. And now my I is at 2. Not satisfied here. Now my right is 0. Now we have the first character, which is D. So what we will do, you can see in place. What is happening? D is being assigned here. Then we are going further. I is also going further. Now I is at L. So it will assign L. Okay. Now I is at R. So it will assign R. Of course, we are incrementing right as well. And now you can see the in place what is happening. Now it's O. And now this will be W. See? And now we are out of this loop. Why? Because my I reached to this space. And this while loop, when it encounters space, it will break. So it will go down. But now what it will do? It will reverse. Now where my R is here. Because we incremented, it will be here. So now we have to reverse the string until this much. I mean the list. So this will reverse and you can see now it's reversed and it's now world. See how easy it is? And now after this, we need space here, right? So wherever my right is right now, instead of that, we'll just have space. This is just to check the bounds. So just have the space. See, now it's space here. And since we already have space, now we'll go further. Now my right will be also increased and my I will also go further. Now my I is at 8. Now it's here, 8. Okay, if you can count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so again, it's inbound, not space, so skipped, not end, so skip. Again, my start will be updated. Now start is at 6. Okay, so again, we have O now. So now the things for hello is starting. So you can see O is there, then L will come, then overwrite O with L. Just focus on the local variables where S is being in place modified, and now L will be replaced with E and then L with H. See, until now it's done. And now this loop will exit because my I reached here at the space. So now we have everything that we need for hello. Just we have to reverse it. So you can see the magic. It's reversed. Yep. Now it's hello. And we need space because maybe we have one more character, word later. We need space, but we don't. So we will just simply exit because my I will now be 14. and you can see that is our space, so we'll skip. Now I is 15 and my while loop condition is not satisfied, so we will simply break. You can see that's why we are breaking, because my while loop here is not satisfied. So that's why we need this condition that we have to break, or else if we don't, then it will again continue this. Okay, because we still, it's not space, but it will still go here and increment I plus plus. So this will be a bit problematic because this will be again still done. And that's why we are getting that space at the end. Now you got it, why we are getting that space. So we will simply return, but we will join until this. Okay, and because right is here, we added the extra space which we don't need because we don't have any word anymore. So we will just join this much, and you can see the magic. We will get our output. Oops. Yeah, world hello. Perfect. So that's how thing works. You can just simply debug. If you have premium, I guess only then only you can debug. But that's how it is, and thanks for watching.